Today we're going to be taking the entire front suspension off the S13 so we can do some cut and shut or like B-style knuckles, because I currently only have a roll center correction kit. People just said it gives me, I had rack spacers and then they're like, oh, get a roll center correction kit, it gives you a bit more lock again. And now people are like, oh, you don't have like an actual lock kit? And I'm like, oh. So we're gonna do some cut and shut knuckles, yay. To do that, I do need to move the rack forward as well and extend my lower control arms as well. So basically the entire front suspension needs to come off, so hubs, knuckles, control arms, and I will be changing the coilovers as well. So coilovers have to come out, and this whole thing here where the rack is connected to, this whole frame, that thing, it needs to come out so that the rack can get moved forward. Yeah. But we do have a spare rack, so I'll just try and leave my rack all in the car, like all the lines connected, and I'll just leave this rack here and we'll use the other S13 rack that's broken for measurement purposes. I'm not exactly sure. I do have someone that is going to be helping me with how to do this, like the cut and shut and moving the rack forward, because I would not attempt that myself. I don't understand. And even now looking at it, I don't understand. If I move the rack forward, how is that going to line up? I don't understand. I don't even know what we're cutting and shutting, but I will show you guys in this video what we are, when I get there or when I get it back, I'll show you guys what we moved. So yeah, what I do know is I need to take the suspension off, and I do know how to do that. So let's get into it. First step is to jack your car up from the rad support, which I will be reinforcing in another video. Jack it up enough to get the wheels off the ground and some stands under it, because it won't be able to go back on the ground after this. I think to 19, maybe. Let's see. It is a 19. So we need to just undo this. Yay. Heavy. Come off. Brake is off. Yay. Pretty little baby. There we go. And this is what we're left with. Oh, there. Yay. Undo this split pin, so I need some grabbies, and then undo this. These are so hard to get out. Maybe not for big, strong men, but for me. I just bend them so much that I destroy them. Good. That's so much harder if you don't have an Ugga Dugga gun. Now it should just slip off. If I replaced these though, like, you know, a year or two ago, so they're just going to pop off. But I think my first ones were real hard to get off. They were seized. Yeah. So that's that. Here is the knuckle. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just trying to think of the smartest way to do this, because I do need to get this off as well. Just trying to think, if I undo the coilover, it's going to be all saggy and gross and annoying. So I might leave the coilover attached. I think undo here and then undo the control arm. If you're watching this, don't just cut it off and think that you can just weld it back on, because it needs to be done in a jig and it needs to be done properly. You can't just cut it and weld it wherever you feel like. You need a jig for this. So yeah, take it to someone who knows how to do it. So I'm going to take this off. I will go ahead and I want to get off this caster arm. I need to get this off. Ugh. Oh, okay. I went and raided my father's toolbox, and he had this deep 19 for some reason. He owns a Ford, so I don't know why he's got a 19. Okay, what's loosen? Left. Left. Okay. Okay, it's spinning. Let's take a guess. I think it's going to be an 18. Please come out. It is. Okay, one-handed. Heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Some washers, bolts. Let us move on to What am I going to do next? I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to do this. I might go ahead and undo my tie rod. If I undo this, I can get to that, and then the knuckle will come off. So I might do that. I'll undo the suspension here on the coilover, and then I'll be able to get to here, and I'll be able to get the knuckle off, and then I can get the caster arm off separately. The lower control arm off separately. Oh. Yeah, and if y'all can notice, these coilovers are bright red. That's because they are max beating rods, and I have had them for like 5 years, and the dampening does not work on them anymore. So that's what we're replacing them. I've been making do now, but since I'm doing my lock and my like suspension stuff, I'm like, oh, I'll do my coilovers. They're just leftovers from the 180, but nonetheless, better than this. Oh, yay! Now I can get, where'd this come from? That come from there. Okay, now I can get to this big one. Wonder if it's a 19. Okay, it's not. It might be a 21. Okay, it might be the next size. It is. So we'll undo that. Yay! It's a bit of gentle persuasion. Did some whacking off camera. We got it loose. So we just kind of whacked it there with some WD-40. And it pops off. So that is what I'll be taking to get cut and shut, just that piece. And I want to paint it too. R.I.P. this split pin. And more whacking. Oh yay, there's that one. I whacked it and whacked it. Yay, it's off. So that is the roll center correction kit. Oh, damn, I can just fit it. Huh, it is. Okay, get off. Both knuckles are off. That is them. Both lower control arms are off. Now let's move on to the rack. So I'm gonna unbolt my rack. I don't know what size bolt, nut, washer, I don't know what it is, so we'll just have a look. Okay, so the rack is a 17. So there's one rack bolt there that holds it in, and I believe one, I still can't see. It's up in there. It's 2 fingers deep up in there. So I'm gonna need an extension. Not that I can even see. Okay. Hey. Yeah. This is what we need. Yay. Now to get out with it. Subframe is out. I'm so puffed. For my last trick today, we're undoing the coilovers. One, okay, off, and then I'll get under and okay. Yay, coilover is out. So this is what we're left with. This is exactly what it looks like. It looks very sad. There's nothing in it anymore, but it is for a good cause. So I will come back to you guys when the knuckles are cut and shut. I will see you in a couple of weeks. It has been 2 months now since I last recorded about the suspension, and a few plans have changed. Last time I spoke to you guys, I was going to be doing moving the rack forward and cut and shut knuckles, things like that. But we decided to go with the new version 3 B knuckles. Now, I've always wanted some B knuckles, and the really cool thing about these version 3 B knuckles is that they're cast, so they're not cut and welded, they're cast. It's good because I thought before doing something irreversible like cutting and moving the rack forward, I want to try these out and see how they feel, because I've always wanted a B knuckle, and if worse comes to worse, I can revert back to my stock knuckles, cut and shut those and move the rack forward. But we'll see how these go, and they're purple, so that's cute. I got my cut and shut extended LCAs here. They're extended about 25 or 30 mil, I think. So they were cut and shut and extended, and also he gusseted them for me, which is really awesome. I really like how these look. They look so good. And then next I got some secondhand coilovers. They're just out of the 180. We got new ones for the 180, so these are just out of the 180. I got a new rack spacer because you need to run the straight ones with the new setup. And I got some new tie rods because the tie rods in my current setup will be too short. So I got some new tie rods and as well some new hubs because the spindle here is thicker than the stock S13 spindle. These are like S14 spindles. So I had to get some new hubs. Just got these, just no brand base coat. I don't know. But yeah, I just got these. Yeah, and they fit nicely on there. So let's get to the install. First thing I'm going to do is hop under here and try and get the rack back in because that's obviously, we're not touching it. Oh no, that's my good wheel. What happened? I mean, I guess nothing worse than what it already looked like. I had to reposition the jack stands. They were under where I need to mount the subframe. So I've got the jack under the front and the stands because I'm a bit scared about just having stands. So I'm going to get under here and try and use my body to press the subframe in. If this doesn't work, I'm going to just use the jack and then hope I don't die. What's that? Look at Pit Rat B. He's got a staff. He grabbed a stick to help me hold it up. Oh, thankfully. Now I can get out from under here. Okay, rack and everything is in. These are the coils from the 180 that I'm going to put in. They had to get reinforced here because they were cut to fit some other knuckle and it was quite thin. So we just reinforced it. My arms are sore from doing the rack. So this is gonna, I'm gonna take the tape off. This is gonna be a little bit harder than it would be if my arms weren't sore. Not too hard. Coil over in, now for the favorite part, the V-knuckle. It's gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. It already looks so freaking cool. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. Wow. Nice. Wow, I love that so much. And I already got S14 tie rod outers, so I know it'll fit. Because actually just before I found out that the S13 washer and thing, lost my train of thought. The nut doesn't fit. I completely forgot to order these, so I'm going to have to make a quick run to EFI tomorrow, but yeah, for now that'll do. Just going to kind of potter on and maybe put this in, see if I can get these holes to line up with this. You know, I'm just going to try. I've never really put this on before, so we'll just do one thing at a time and see what lines up. Ta-da! It's all back together. I'm still got to get the nut for this to hold it on tomorrow, but we put the caliper, the rotor, the B-knuckle, it's all on and it looks all nice and pretty. I think we need to weld some lock stops on, but we can't do that here unless the motor's in, so I'll have to do that and just do that another time. But yeah, it looks so pretty and so nice, and it looks like it's going to give me a heap of lock, so you'll see in my next drifting video exactly how much lock, or we'll give it a review when I go drifting. It's obviously how much it's going to give us, but depending on how I align it and the lock stop thing, it might be a little bit less, but that's pretty much how much it's giving us right now. So we'll see how this goes at my next drift event. I'm excited to see. It is currently Wednesday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, and I have drifting Friday, and I need to leave at 11 o'clock Friday, so I've only got tomorrow to finish this. But yeah, I did a lot of this off camera because it's actually quite hard cutting and measuring the tie rods and everything, but this wasn't really a tutorial video. It was actually a massive struggle. But anyways, I'm glad to have this over. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you probably in my next drifting video, which is where we're going to be doing some more tandems with Paul.